I'm Tracy with MeatRx. I'm a MeatRx coach. I'm here today with another coach, Veerle. She is here with us. Hi, Veerle.
Hi.
So we want to hear all about your success story and how things went for you. Can you begin by telling us like what your diet and your health was like prior to carnivore?
Well, thanks. First of all, thanks for having me. And well, my diet was really, I was vegetarian for 7 years. When I ate meat, sometimes I ate meat, but then I would punish myself for not eat, and then I wouldn't eat meat for a couple of weeks. And yeah, well, I had my garden I remodeled, so I had a lot of fruits and vegetables planted in that. Because I wanted to be sustainable and just grow my own food. Well, that didn't really work out because you can't do that because there are bugs and everything. Mm-hmm. So I was overweight, and I had fallen down, and my knee never really healed, or I always sometimes it hurt when I walked the stairs, and I had a big brownish spot there, so that never went away. It was blue and then brownish, and then it stayed like that. I had carpal tunnel syndrome, so I was at home for a couple of months because I couldn't work anymore. That really hurts, and I couldn't seem to get rid of it. It always came back, and I didn't want to take any medication because I don't like that. So I just tough it out. And yeah, I was really addicted to sugar also, so I ate a lot of candy, and every time I was eating, I was thinking about the next plate of food. So I was never with my mind on the plate of food I was eating, just thinking ahead, what could I have later? And in 2009, my mother passed away, and that was really when I gained a lot of weight. So in a year, I gained 20 kilos, and I was already overweight. So I was now 86 kilos. And I was really depressed, have been since I was, I think, about 14 years old or so, and sometimes suicidal, and really, really struggling. And after my mother died, it was just a big black hole. And I did graduate art school for some reason in the year after, but that was just something that really kept me going. And I was eating a lot, really a lot. I think two or three pasta plates at night, a lot of chips and candy, and so really depressed, and struggled with that a lot.
Okay, so when did you begin the carnivore diet, or how did you hear about it? Or is that the first thing you tried for your conditions that you had that you wanted to improve?
The first diet I went on was the Candida diet, because when my mother passed away, I got Candida, mm-hmm. And I went on that, and after that I became vegetarian. And then I saw on Facebook carnivore dating. I don't know why I saw it, but I saw it and I was like, what's carnivore dating? What's carnivore? So I went and searched for it. I was like, whoa, that's pretty extreme. And I showed it to my boyfriend, and he was like, well, no, I'm not seeing myself doing that. That's too much to cut out. Mm-hmm. So, it just, we left it there and went on. And then a few weeks later on YouTube, I saw the carnivore diet on a channel, just in a really quick video about what the carnivore diet was. And I thought, well, just watch it. And then I went and watched it, and was like, whoa, I don't know, it's intriguing. So then after that movie on the channel, there was an interview with Dr. Barry, and I watched that, and then, well, I just dove right into it. And and then I saw all the health benefits and all the people just raving about it. And I, searched for the history about the food pyramid, and where does it come from, and how they put in the different food groups, why do we eat that? And then I saw the money, where it came from. So about oils, about Nina Titscholz.
Mhm.
I don't know how to pronounce her name, I'm sorry. But I saw her lecture, and Paul Mason about the fiber bit, that you don't need it. And yeah, so I watched a lot of lectures online and really did some research. And then I thought, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try it for a year, because you can't be sure for just trying it 4 weeks. I mean, you don't know. And I'm always like, I want to dive right into it and just do it. The next day, okay, all meat. And my boyfriend was like, no, I'm gonna just slowly move into the carnivore diet. And thought, well, since he's cooking, I'm gonna join him. So in 2 months, we moved to the carnivore diet. So that was really not straight away. And
Did you
I
just
did.
start out by one meal at a time doing carnivore and doing some vegetables with it, or?
I just gradually removed the starches and the vegetables. And after seeing a lecture on oxalates by Sally Norton, I was like, no, thank you. No more vegetables for me. And then we just cut them out. I do occasionally use herbs and spices, and I have some blueberries and blackberries in the garden. So sometimes I will eat some, but that will be 1 or 2, and not a box full of them. Just something in between, if I feel like it, and that's not every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. So your health conditions were like, was there something wrong with your knee for a while, or was it a joint thing, or just from falling that you got it hurt?
It was just from falling, and never, I think, properly healing. It was not all the time. It was sometimes when I walked the stairs, or sometimes when I was in the gym, it hurt. So yeah, that was probably it. And with my wrist also, a lot of times I couldn't go to the gym because my wrists hurt so bad that I couldn't do anything, and sometimes my knee also. So that was really frustrating. Yeah.
Okay. And so when you implemented the diet, did you have any difficulties at the beginning? I mean, you said you did it gradually over 2 months, so that actually is a good thing, because then you don't sometimes get the keto flu that people talk about. Did you have any symptoms of such a thing, like tiredness or diarrhea or anything like that?
No, I noticed when I was in the first 3 weeks of just eating more meat, or eating meat because I didn't eat meat before. So I was just eating at night a burger or steak or something like that. And then within 2 weeks, my when you go to bed, sometimes then your mind keeps on racing. And when I after 3 weeks, I didn't have that anymore, and I didn't have any dark thoughts anymore. I was just, it felt so much lighter. So mentally, I noticed it when I wasn't even fully carnivore, that I felt so much better. And for physically, I had hard bowel movements, so that wasn't fun. So in the first couple of months, I really struggled with that. Not every time, but sometimes, and I didn't go regularly, but that didn't bother me because I wasn't bloated or anything. But when I had to go, sometimes it was really painful. Yeah, that's the one thing physically that I really didn't like the first couple of months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you do anything to help yourself with that? Did you take any supplements or anything?
No,
No,
just wrote it out.
just
Yeah.
waited it out.
Yeah, I thought, well, that it will balance out, and I tried to drink a little bit of more water sometimes, but I already drank a lot of water.
Mhm.
So I just adding more fats to my diet, because I read that you that would help also, but it didn't help all of the time, because yeah, one day is not the other day, and sometimes you need more fat and sometimes you don't, and it's really with the carnivore diet, you get to listen to your body again. You get to be in touch with your body again and feel what your body needs, and that's really other a relationship with your body that you have than I had previously.
Yeah, and changing your relationship with your food too.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
did.
yeah. That definitely changed. I really loved sweet chocolate, and when I had raw cacao powder, and I thought, well, I'm gonna make a hot cocoa with raw milk, and I drank it, and I had a headache, and then I didn't link the two, but the second time I did, and I thought, no more cocoa for me, and no more chocolate for me. That was it, because it's not worth the headache.
Right.
Yeah.
So did you lost a bunch of weight? Is that what happened also?
Well, I lost a lot of weight during intermittent fasting, and that was prior to going carnivore. I did intermittent fasting while I was vegetarian, and I wouldn't recommend that to anyone, but I thought it was a good idea at the time. And I did lose a lot of weight. I lost about 30 kilos, and I felt good doing it, but there were some issues, and now for carnivore I've gained a little bit of weight, but I'm also 3 times in the week in the gym lifting weights, and I'm like, well, I hear a lot of women who gain a little bit of weight and then it flies off when your body says I'm ready to let it go. So I'm trusting on that, and I'm not a size up with my clothes. So I'm like, well, the scale can't be trusted.
That's true. That's true. It's,
Yeah.
it's fake news, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Well, sounds like you got quite a bit of benefit from your fasting, and you're a fasting coach too, fasting and
Yeah.
carnivore coach.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so, what is your view on telling people about fasting? Starting out, if they should do carnivore first or fasting first? What's your recommendation?
Well, I would do carnivore first, because a lot of people have depleted all their nutrients and they need to replenish it. And so just do that, and you have to get a new relationship with your body, and just want to nourish it and be friends with it. And then it will take care of you. So I would definitely first do carnivore, and because I really noticed a difference in the gym also on carnivore. I can lift more weight, and more rapidly I go up in weight, and I don't have any issues with recovery. I don't have that much soreness afterwards. When I was vegetarian, I really could have soreness for I think 3 days, and sometimes just couldn't walk the stairs, and now I'm pushing more weight, and I can still walk the stairs.
Oh, yeah.
So that's also, yeah, recovery is really quick. And I had an operation in January, and I got compliments from the woman who took the pictures of my injuries when I went back for the final checkup, that it was so beautifully healed and that it was really special. She didn't see that quite often, that it was so good healed properly. Yeah.
Wow, so you healed quickly after your surgery then?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and it was all carnivore. I never ate any greens or starches or anything like that. Just only carnivore. Yeah.
Cool. So what do you eat on a
Yeah.
typical day? Like a typical day, what does that look like for you for eating?
Well, I don't eat breakfast. I've never really liked that. I always had to make myself eat it because my mother said it was the most important meal of the day. So it wasn't really difficult for me to stop that. And now I just eat when I feel hungry. So that's usually about 12 or about 1 o'clock. And well, I eat, sometimes I eat tartare or a hamburger or a frikandella. That's a Dutch thing. And I also eat cheese and yogurt because, well, I'm Dutch and I really like cheese. So I can't give that up. Maybe in the future, I'm like, well, maybe I'm gonna try just meat, but for now, I'm fine with this. And then in the evening, usually a burger or now it's a season for lamb. So we bought a lamb at a local farmer, half a lamb, and now we're eating that on the barbecue. So it's really, I'm really fortunate with local farmers here, so I can buy the meat from them. So every week we go to a beef farm and we place an order. We're gonna pick it up, and they have grass cheese. That's the first seasonal cheese, so that's really nice. And goat cheese, and it's all raw. Raw milk I can get from a local farmer, and so that's really nice. So I have a lot of different farmers where I can get my produce from.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know you're a fasting coach and a carnivore coach. And can you tell me like what your coaching strategy is like for your clients that come to you?
Well, that depends on what they want, and usually I've got women who want to lose weight, and usually I tell them, well, you really should focus on your relationship with your body first and with your relationship with food, because usually they really have a sweet tooth and are really addicted to sugar. And if you can change your relationship with food and with your body, then that will come also. But really focus on how you feel. And a lot of people are really depressed and have mental issues. And from my experience, that really went away for me. And I say, well, if you have that focus on that, because that's the important thing, how you feel, and then your body will, it will come. But it's not the most important thing. The most important thing is how you feel and how you get through the day. If you're in bed, really, you have the body you want, but you're depressed all the time, you don't enjoy it as well. So I think mind is, how your mind is more important than your body. Yeah.
That's a great strategy.
Yeah.
I love that. So what would you do? Would you tell someone that carnivore is a difficult diet to do, or what would you suggest someone that's just wanting to start out on carnivore? What would you tell them?
Be patient with yourself. And don't be too strict with yourself, just don't punish yourself, because a lot of time I'm really strict with myself, so I know that's really difficult, but I found that the carnivore diet has made me less strict to myself and more forgiving, and just I enjoy my food more. So I really like my food, and it's not the kind of you want to eat it all and then you still want more. You really enjoy eating it, and it's not compulsory. You know, you're not like just stuffing your face and feel horrible afterwards. I'm never nauseated anymore or bloated. I always feel just full, you know, just satiated, full, really nice, and I don't like the taste of sugar anymore. It's not like when I was vegetarian, I always tried to keep the sugar down, and then when I ate it, I was like, oh, it's too sweet. And then when you ate it more, then you got adapted to that. But now when I ate tiramisu, I think in last December, and I took a bite, and usually I really like it. It was homemade tiramisu, and it didn't do anything for me. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. It was just like, I don't know. It's not, I don't want this anymore. Give me butter, you know, beef jerky with butter spread on it. I will eat that, yeah. Or a glass of raw milk, or some cheese, all kinds of meat, but please don't give me any tiramisu or any desserts. No, I don't want that anymore.
Awesome. So did you have cravings in the beginning, or you just have not had cravings all the way through?
In the beginning, and sometimes I have some craving. Sometimes I just want something creamy, but you can also get whipped cream. I really like that, and some kind of yogurt that always really well. That's also good. So I don't want any chocolate. There is some in my kitchen. There's some chocolate still left from a year ago or something like that, or a year and a half, and some dried apples we made just before going carnivore, and it's still there. When we get visitors, they will get that, but I don't want to eat it anymore. If I go to the draw, I just want my beef jerky, and I don't go for that anymore. And I would never have thought that prior to going carnivore, because I never had that. And that's also what I say to people is, you can't see the person you are in 2 months. You can only imagine it from where you're now, but that's not the person you are 2 months later. So that really, I don't know, I can tell people that I don't have cravings and I don't want to eat it anymore. And if I eat it, it doesn't do anything for me, but it's always like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But you have to experience it yourself, because I'm not special. I'm not an alien or something like that. I'm not the only person who has gone through that and has found that to be true. So you just have to try it and really go for it for at least 3 months, in my opinion, because and even I think half a year is better. Then you can really tell if it's worth pursuing.
Yeah, I agree. I think it takes longer than a month for sure. But
Yeah.
the first month you kind of know at the end of that month, you know that is really a good thing. I mean, I recognize that in that first month, but then, you know, it does take longer. So you do have to be patient for sure.
Yeah, it's the mental issue was really that was the reason why I went for it, because after 2 weeks it was just, I wasn't depressed anymore and not thinking in circles anymore, and that was really worth everything. I don't know, I didn't have much issues, but I would have done it if I had a lot of issues, because feeling good is mentally is worth so much.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And so your boyfriend does carnivore too, correct? And
Yes.
what kind of benefits has he noticed?
Well, also that because we both were really depressed and sometimes suicidal, and we sometimes had talks about that together. That's always a good thing, because then you won't do it. But it wasn't fun, you know, just both really really gloomy. And after he had the exact same experience, after 2 weeks, he it stopped. He really didn't think about that anymore. And for a long time, he has always been skinny, but he always had a little bit of a belly, not much, but just a layer of fat, a little layer. And after a few months, that really went away. So he has abs now, and so his body really changed as well, and he can lift a lot more. But particularly the mental part and the bowel movements and the gas, because he had a lot of gas from the vegetables. But I think everybody has that that problem. Yeah, so mentally, really, yeah, for both of us. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Because what do you attribute it to? Do you attribute it to getting the correct nutrients in your body, or is it the fat content of the meat, or do you know what helps the mental state?
I have no idea. No. I think it's just the meat, something in the meat. I don't know what. That's one thing I didn't search. No, I didn't search for that. That's a good thing. I don't know. No. I searched for everything, but that's
Yeah.
I didn't. So
I
question,
don't
but
know.
I don't know.
Okay. I didn't know for sure, but I honestly don't really know exactly what it is, but I do believe that as you eat carnivore, and it takes time, but that your body balances out, and that's balances out your hormones, balances out your weight, balances so many things, and then your mental state is also gets balanced as your body heals. I believe
Yeah.
that's what it is. But the meat makes you strong, and the fat is good for the brain. I know that. So,
Yeah. And I know, I think a lot of issues are related to hormones. I believe a lot of issues stem from that. And that's a really tricky thing, hormones.
yeah, and there's so many of us going through different stages of our life, and so, but the hormones are different at different times of your life, but it's still, you need balanced hormones. So
Yeah. And I think that will be the last thing that really balances out.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, Veerle, it was so nice talking with you, and I love your story. You had a lot of success. I appreciate you sharing with everybody, and if they want to hire you to be their coach, I'm sure you'll be there for them, and they can find you on MeetRx. And thank you so much for coming, and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you as well for your time. It was great being here.
Okay, it was lovely meeting you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.